I thought leaving Mom's arms back in Ohio was the worst it'd get, but then the bus dumped me at Fort Dix and hell broke loose. My name's Johnny Carter, and in August 1967, I went from a kid with a duffel bag to a number in a line, sleeping on dirt with a drill sergeant screaming in my face till I couldn't hear my own thoughts. That first night under the stars, I realized Vietnam wasn't the war yet. This place was, and it was already tearing me apart piece by piece. It started with the bus pulling out of that Ohio station back in July, but the real ride, the one that stuck with me, didn't end until August 2nd, 1967. I'd been on that Greyhound for hours, my legs stiff, my back aching from the lumpy seat, the paper sack from Mom long empty. Tommy was next to me, his red hair a mess, cracking jokes about how we'd be heroes by Christmas. "You'll see, Johnny," he said, lighting a cigarette, the smoke curling up in the dim light. "We'll come back with medals, girls all over us." I forced a laugh, but my stomach was a knot, and every mile took me further from the fields I knew. The bus wasn't full, just us and maybe 20 other guys, all quiet except for a kid in the back humming some tune I didn't recognize. The windows were cracked open, letting in hot air and the smell of diesel, and I kept my forehead pressed to the glass, watching Ohio turn into Pennsylvania, then Jersey. Towns blurred by, little houses, gas stations, kids waving like we were something special. I waved back once, felt stupid after, and I stopped looking out. My hands kept fidgeting with the strap of my duffel, the canvas rough against my fingers, and I wondered if Mom was still crying back home. We hit Fort Dix around noon, the bus lurching to a stop on a gravel lot that stretched out like a desert. The driver didn't say a word, just opened the door and let us spill out into the heat. I stepped down, boots crunching, and the sun hit me hard, blinding me for a second. Dust kicked up around my ankles, sticking to my sweat-soaked shirt, and I squinted at the sprawl ahead. Low wooden barracks, a water tower, fences glinting in the distance. Officers were everywhere, barking orders, their voices cutting through the rumble of engines and the chatter of guys like me, all lost and trying not to show it. "Line up! Move it!" one of them yelled, a short guy with a whistle around his neck. I grabbed my bag and shuffled over, Tommy right behind me, his cigarette still dangling. There were maybe 50 of us now, a ragged line of kids from all over. Farm boys, city slickers, some barely shaving. I stood there, shoulders hunched, feeling the weight of my bag and the eyes of the officers sizing us up. "Carter, John," I shouted when they called roll, my voice cracking a little, and a sergeant with a clipboard grunted, "Barracks 12. Go." I didn't even know where that was, but I moved anyway, following the crowd toward a dirt path lined with scrubby bushes. Barracks 12 was a bust. We got there, a sweaty pack of us, only to find out it wasn't ready. Last groups still clearing out, a corporal said, leaning against the doorframe, his drawl slow and bored. "You're sleeping outside tonight. Grab a spot." Tommy kicked a rock, muttering, "Great start, huh?" I didn't answer, just dropped my bag on a patch of dirt near the barracks, figuring it'd do. The field was already filling up, guys spreading out blankets or just sitting on their gear, the air buzzing with curses and nervous laughs. The sun was still high, baking the ground, and I wiped my forehead with my sleeve, the fabric damp and gritty. Tommy lit another cigarette, offered me one, and I took it, the smoke burning my throat as I sat down next to him. "You think this is what Pete meant?" I asked, thinking of my cousin's stories about training. Tommy shrugged. He said it'd toughen us up. "Guess we'll see." I nodded, staring at the barracks, peeling paint, cracked windows, a faded sign with 12 scrawled on it. It didn't look tough. It looked tired. They fed us late, after the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep orange. A truck rolled up, tires crunching, and 2 guys tossed out boxes of sea rations. I grabbed one, pried it open with my knife, and stared at the mess inside. Some kind of stew, cold and slimy, with a cracker that crumbled in my hand. I ate it anyway, forcing it down, the taste like wet dog food mixed with salt. Tommy gagged, spat his out. "This is bullshit," he said, loud enough for a guy nearby to laugh. "Get used to it, Red," the guy shot back, a skinny kid with glasses. I didn't join in, just chewed and swallowed, my stomach growling too loud to care. Then the drill sergeant came. I was lying on my jacket, trying to get comfortable, when I heard the boots, fast, heavy, like a storm rolling in. Before I could sit up, he was there, towering over me, his face red and scarred, cap tilted just enough to show he meant business. "Carter, what the hell is this?" he roared, so close I felt spit hit my cheek. I scrambled up, heart pounding, legs shaky. "You call this a bed? Get your ass in line." His voice was a hammer, smashing through the night, and I fumbled to straighten my jacket, my hands trembling. "Yes, sir." I managed, but he was already on Tommy, then the skinny kid, his yells echoing across the field. I stood there, frozen, while he tore into us, blankets too messy, boots in the dirt, everything wrong. "You think this is a damn picnic? You're soldiers now. Act like it." He stomped off, leaving us rattled, and I dropped back down, ears ringing, mosquitoes buzzing around my head. Sleep didn't come easy. The ground was hard, the air sticky, and every rustle made me think he was coming back. I stared at the stars, bright and cold, and wondered how I'd make it through this. Morning came too soon. Reveille blasted at 0500, a bugle so loud it jolted me awake, my jacket soaked with dew. "Up! Up!" the sergeant yelled, stomping through the field, and I grabbed my bag, falling in a line with the others. We marched to a clearing, 100 of us, bleary-eyed and stiff, the sky still dark. That's when they started breaking us. First was running, laps around a dirt track, the dust so thick it coated my tongue. My legs burned, my chest heaved, and every time I slowed, that sergeant was there, his voice like a whip. "Carter, move it, you lazy bastard." I pushed harder, sweat stinging my eyes, the sun creeping up over the barracks. Tommy stayed ahead, grinning like it was a game, but I saw guys drop, gasping, their faces red and miserable. Then push-ups, 50, then 100, my arms shaking by 30, the dirt grinding into my hands. "Down! Up!" he barked, pacing the line, his boots kicking up dust. I kept going, counting in my head, my shirt a wet rag against my back. A kid next to me collapsed, sobbing, and the sergeant hauled him up, screaming, "You think Charlie cares if you're tired?" I didn't know who Charlie was yet, but I figured I'd find out soon enough. They gave us rifles that afternoon. M14s, heavy and sleek, the woodstock cool against my palm. I'd shot Dad's .22 back home, rabbits mostly, but this was different. The sergeant showed us how to hold it, his hands steady, his voice hard. "This is your wife now, boys. Sleep with it, eat with it, or it'll bury you." I gripped mine tight, my fingers clumsy, and aimed at nothing, the weight of it sinking into me. We didn't fire them yet, just held them, marched with them, got used to them. My arms ached by dusk, but I didn't let go. I wasn't alone in this mess. Tommy was my anchor, always there with a laugh or a smoke, but there were others too. The skinny kid with glasses, Eddie from Philly, turned out to be sharper than he looked. "I'm just here 'cause they caught me," he said one night, polishing his glasses on his sleeve. Draft dodgers don't last in my neighborhood. He was quiet, but he knew stuff, math, maps, things I didn't get, and I liked him for it. Then there was Big Mike, a hulking guy from Texas who snored like a bear and cussed like a sailor. He took a swing at Tommy Day 3 after Tommy called him cowboy one too many times. "Say it again, Red." Mike growled, fists up, but the sergeant broke it up, made them run laps instead. I stayed out of it, but Mike nodded at me later like we were square. "You're all right, Carter," he said, and that was that. The sergeant, Drill Sergeant Hayes, we learned, was the real force. He was everywhere, yelling, pushing, his scar glinting in the sun. "You're not men yet," he'd say, spitting tobacco. "You're meat. I'll make you men or break you trying." I hated him, feared him, but part of me knew he was right. This wasn't Ohio anymore. By week's end, we'd moved into Barracks 12. Narrow bunks, thin mattresses, a bulb flickering overhead. I got a bottom bunk, Tommy above, his snores rattling the frame. I couldn't sleep, not after days of running, yelling, and rifles. My hands were blistered, my back sore, and my head wouldn't shut up. I pulled out paper and a pencil, started writing to Mom. "Dear Ma," I scribbled, "Fort Dix is loud and hot. They yell all day, but I'm okay. Miss you and Dad." I stopped there, too tired to say more, and tucked it away. Lying there, I thought about home, the fields, the porch, Marianne's smile. It felt like a dream now, slipping away with every push-up, every scream. I wasn't Johnny from Ohio anymore. I was Carter, a number, a grunt. And Vietnam was still coming closer every day. So that was my first taste of Fort Dix, August 1967. Nights on the ground, a sergeant in my face, and a rifle that felt like a stranger. I was changing fast and not always for the better. This was just the warm-up. Weeks of training were ahead, and Vietnam was waiting at the end of it all. If you're wondering how I survived, how I turned into a soldier, stick with me. Hit subscribe, and let's find out together what came next.